Today we're going to talk about restrictive versus non-restrictive relative clauses. You might have heard this term before, restrictive relative clauses. Relative clauses in this case are also called adjective clauses. We're only going to look at adjective clauses today. So you might have heard the term restrictive or identifying or specifying or essential or even defining relative clauses. These are all different names that have the same meaning. Okay, these are relative clauses that are restrictive. They restrict the noun we're talking about, like this man here fixing the bike. The man, we're restricting it just to one man, the man who is fixing the bike, not all of the men in the world. In this case, we're identifying him, we're specifying him, and this information is essential because without this information, we wouldn't know if we were referring to this man or that man or which man. So in this case, we define the man as the man who is fixing the bike, and that defines the man and therefore gives us the information we need to help specify or identify which man we're talking about. So let's look at some examples and this will become a little clearer. In this case, the man is fixing my bike. Here, it's clear there's only one man. We don't have to specify which one we're talking about. So if we add a relative clause, like this adjective clause, the man who is wearing the blue shirt is fixing my bike. This is non-essential information. It's non-identifying, non-specifying. We're not specifying which man here. We're just giving extra information. The man who is wearing the blue shirt. The man who is from Toronto. The man who is very tall is fixing my bike. It's extra information. Let's look at a situation where it's essential information or specifying. This might be the case if there is more than one man. Now, if they're all wearing blue shirts, it's difficult. So let's assume they're wearing different colored shirts. The man is fixing my bike. Well, which man is fixing my bike? Lots of men are fixing lots of bikes. We could say the man who is wearing the blue shirt is fixing my bike. That way we would know this man right here is fixing my bike. The man in the red shirt is fixing your bike. The man in the green shirt is fixing his bike. The man in the black shirt is fixing her bike. But the man who is wearing the blue shirt is fixing my bike. In this case, we are restricting the man to just the one who is wearing the blue shirt. Not any man, but the man who is wearing the blue shirt. We're identifying which man. We're specifying. We're being specific. It's not any of the men. It's the man who is wearing the blue shirt. This information is called essential because without this extra information, without this essential information, we wouldn't know which of the men we were referring to. It defines, and we define the man as the man who is wearing the blue shirt. Now we know which man is fixing my bike, not one of the other bikes. But what if there were even more men? Can we specify a portion or sum of many men? Yes, we can. Let's say, for example, that some men ride their bikes every day and some men ride their bikes on the weekend. Well, we could say the men who are from Chicago ride their bikes every day. That's these 4 men here out of all the men. So again, this is restrictive. We're restricting it to just this portion of the men, just the men who are from Chicago. We're identifying which ones, and we're specifying it's these 4, the men who are from Chicago. This is essential information because if we didn't know it was the men who are from Chicago that ride their bikes every day, we wouldn't know which men we were talking about. We're defining the men as the men who are from Chicago, and now we know who rides their bikes every day. Likewise, we could say the men who I went to school with ride their bikes on the weekend. Again, restrictive, identifying, specifying, essential, defining information because we're saying only these ones, the men who I went to school with, ride their bikes on the weekend. Notice with this adjective clause, who I went to school with, there are no commas. With restrictive or identifying or specifying, essential, defining relative clauses, we do not have commas. Let's look at our first example though. The man who is wearing the blue shirt is fixing my bike. Do you see the commas? This is non-essential information. Remember, it's extra. It's not telling you which man because there's only one that we're talking about. In this case, the man who is wearing the blue shirt is fixing my bike. It's extra, non-essential information. Therefore, it gets commas, and we pause when we read a sentence or speak a sentence like this. Listen again. The man who is wearing the blue shirt is fixing my bike. This lets you know it's non-essential. It's non-defining, non-specifying. It's extra information. I could tell you more and more things, but they won't help you understand which man we're talking about because clearly there's only one. He's already been identified or specified. So remember, restrictive, identifying, specifying, essential, defining relative clauses, These terms all have the same meaning, and they're a way to identify or specify which of the objects or people out of a larger group we're referring to. I hope that helps you understand restrictive versus non-restrictive relative clauses. It can be a real challenge, but don't give up. You'll get it.